Hey, good morning. Thank you all for waking up so early after the party. It's kind of nervous that you're clapping before you hear what I have to say, but we'll start there. So, the Idea Factory, how to create and manage a super casual studio. I don't know, really. I'm just getting started, and it's a new business, and we'll find out. So this is the short answer. If you want the long answer, I can elaborate on that. But before everything, I want to tell you a little story. This is the hermit crab. The hermit crab is born without a shell, but he lives his entire life inside a shell. So when he finds a shell, he lives in the shell and he grows in it until there is no place in this shell to grow anymore. So he needs to find a bigger shell so he can keep growing. He finds a new shell, but he needs to get out of his previous shell, and the rest of his body is very, very soft and vulnerable. So in that time between the old shell, which is squeezing him tight, and the new shell, which have time to grow, he's very, very vulnerable, and the only thing he wants to do is just get back to the old shell. But he must do this transition in order to keep growing. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this kind of process, because every time you start a new job or a new position in your work or a new project, you feel like you're way over your head, you don't know anything, and you just want to go back to where you were. But in order to grow, in order to evolve, in order to become better at something, you need to cross this barrier that makes you feel like you don't know anything and you are useless. And my company, TabTale, has done that many times. And every company that you know, that you see here, has had to do the same exact thing in order to keep growing and keep changing and keep adapting to the market, especially the gaming market, especially the mobile gaming market, which is evolving in a rate that is crazy. So TabTale, as you see, started as a kids company. Actually, they started as an interactive books company, but they discovered that kids don't finish the books. They just enjoy playing the interactive part. So they say, okay, let's make games. So we started with toddlers, and you really talk about, you really train the basic elements of life. Shape recognition, ABC, numbers, coloring pages, the very, very basics. Then our kids grew a bit, and we grew with them. So we're moving to more understanding the life around us, the very, very close circle, like mommy and daddy, so raising a baby, helping around the house, feeding the doll. Exactly the games that they play with toys. Kids grow, and when they come to about 6 and 7, so they start exploring society in a very basic way. So I want to be a tractor driver or a fireman, right? I go to the supermarket, I experience that with my mother. And I go to school for the first time, and I love my teacher. I want to play teacher. You know that teacher playset is the most selling playset in the US for toys. So then they grow a bit more, and they start playing with social elements in their life. So now I'm at school, but I'm the naughty boy at school, right? I'm not listening to what the teacher said, because this is what kids do. I'm older now. And I go to a PJ party with my friends, and I do shenanigans. And I go to a spa with my girlfriend. I'm imitating what my mother is doing, or my father. So they're going to yoga, I'm going to go yoga. They're going to the gym, I'm playing as I'm going to the gym. And when they get older, they start experiencing the more complex social elements. So now it's about relationships. Will he love me? Will he won't love me? Here you see, there's a game that we made that this guy is stuck in the friend zone. Everyone can relate to that. And keeping a diary. But what next? Kids are getting older. So boys, they leave our kids games earlier because they don't want to play kids games. Girls, they don't mind playing softer games for longer, but they also move on to other stuff, other games. So we need to get out of our shell and move to a new one. So what is the next step? So what are they playing? They're playing Clash Royale, they're playing Subway Surfers, they're playing Match 3. Basically, they're playing Minecraft. They're playing anything, but they still have this short attention span. These games are based on short attention span, about 40 minutes of gameplay. So they don't dive into very complex, you know, AAA story-driven games. And we see that they play a lot of super casual games. So what are super casual games? Let me show you. Okay, I have to tell you about TabTale a bit. So you see that we grow and we have 1.2 billion downloads. It's a lot. We have 40 million monthly unique active users. So a lot of many active users, but 40 unique millions active users. And well, we are a successful company. We don't need to talk about that. So we found out that they're moving to super casual games. And this is a phrase from Lao Tzu, who is a Chinese philosopher. It says, the flame that burns twice as bright burns half as long. I like this one because, true, super casual games don't have the lifespan of other more complex games, but they have a viral potential that is very, very high. And not, it's not a mistake that super casual games are in the top charts all the time, and they are in the feature section of Apple and Google weekly. So what are super casual games? It's hard to define them because to any rule I will give you now, there is an opposite game that shows that rule broken. But basically, they are very fast, one tap, easy to learn, skill-based games. When you do, you focus on one mechanic and you perfect it. So here you zig and you zag. Here you need to be on the same color as the obstacle to cross it. Here you need to build a tower. You drive a car and you cross the road. As simple as that. These are the rules. So as I said, one finger control, portrait orientation. This is why. These are the rules and this is why. It's a game that you can play anywhere. So if you only have one hand because you're holding the rail of the tram, so you need one hand and it's hard to hold the phone in landscape mode. So you hold it in portrait mode and you play with one finger. So it needs to be there for you all the time. And short game sessions means that you can play it for like half a minute. Like we watch a movie, me and my wife, and then she goes to the bathroom because she's a woman, and then I can't stay alone with my thoughts for 2 minutes because I don't have this ability because I'm in the 21st century, so I have to use a screen. So I go to my phone and I play, you know, a run or two of a game, and in 30 seconds and 1 minute I get 2 runs, which is impossible in most games to get a full experience. And this time filler, this escapism device, is what contributes to its popularity. And of course, it's ad supported. No one will buy this shit. Of course, it started with Flappy Bird, 2014. It exploded in the App Store. What do we remember from Pokemon Go? The same was with Flappy Bird. Oops, sorry. Crossy Road came right after. They said they want to do a Flappy Bird style game, but they added the meta game, right? The characters and all the retention building elements to help their game succeed. And they also made it amazingly. They had 10 million downloads in 3 months, and now over 140 or 150 million downloads. It's amazing. Ketchup came next, and they decided they're going to bring you super casual games on a weekly basis. So you're tied with one game, here's another game. And they created a language that embodies this simplicity, right? I'm moving forward fast because I want to get to other topics. As you can see, it's a genre that keeps on giving from 2014 till now. These are all the games that made above 50 million downloads, but among them, between them, there's like hundreds of games that made multi-million downloads and thousands of games that made millions and tens of thousands of games that made up to 1 million. So there is the market for it. 2016, these are the most downloaded games of the app stores. 2, 3, 5, 6, and 11 are super casual games. Okay, Pokemon Go and Clash Royale, to be in their company, it's amazing. And if I can compare the App Store to a bar, so you have your AAA games, right? This is the 300 years age whiskey that you pay a lot of money for. You have the mojitos and the cocktails. These are all the Kim Kardashian games, I guess. You have milk and chocolate for the kids. I don't know who brings a kid to the bar, but anyway. So what are super casual games? This is a question I'm asking you. What are super casual games in your mind? Water. Thank you very much. Beer. Okay. Any other suggestions? Come on, you're Russians. What about vodka?
It was too obvious.
Obvious, yeah. Well, in my opinion, it's this. The mixed nuts. It's always there. It's free. Take as many as you want. But it keeps you thirsty. It keeps you in the bar. And it's great for everybody. So this is what I envision when I talk about super casual games. Okay, now a bit about how we do it. So we have two routes that we can work with. One is the publishing route, and the other is the production. We produce our own games, and we also publish. So when I'm looking for a developer as a publisher, I'm looking for feature-worthy material, a game that is very, very well polished, has an ingenious idea or a very cool art style, a very unique art style. This is what the stores look when they look for games to feature. Apple, they don't care how many downloads or what is your innovation, but they do. Well, they do care, but they really care about the polish aspect of the app. So it needs to be very, very polished and very clean. I'm looking for viral potential, something that will ignite without using a lot of cross-promotion or user acquisition, something that the market needs right now. I know it's everyone, if anyone could do it, then everyone would do it, but this is something that I try to look for. Innovative. I saw 1 million zigzag games. If you bring me a zigzag game, give it a twist, okay? And polished, I said before. And we're talking about production, we have a very, very, very unique process. Because super casual games are, it's a game of volume, and you can't work on a game for a year. So you need to work very fast, and you need to work on a lot of projects simultaneously, and the biggest issue is coming up with new ideas. Because what I'm asking of the developers, I'm also asking of my team. So we have this first funnel of how we come up with new ideas and new projects. So at the top, we have our think tank. We meet weekly, my team and me. We have artists, we have developers, we have UI people, we have game designers. We all meet together and we come up with crazy ideas. And I'm going to show you in a minute what these ideas are based on. Then I take all the ideas from that week and I try to sort them out, see which has potential. So this is the first gate, the product gate. Then I do a pitch to a different group in the company, the executive group, people that I trust, people that have very strong creative skills and marketing skills and decision makers. And from the 5 projects I bring weekly, they choose 1 or 2, maybe 3, maybe none, to go further for this week. So this is the executive gate. Then I take these 2 projects, I prepare a 1-pager, very, very, very simple, and I bring it to my team to prototype. And in 1 week, they need to produce a prototype without art, without metagame, without anything, just a mechanic that is super, super fun to play. And then I show it again to the executive group, and we see if the experiment worked, and if we can go to production with this project. And it needs to pass the production and marketing gate. And then it moves ahead to production. But I want to talk about how ideas come to us. So we brainstorm every week, and we brainstorm all week, but the meeting is weekly. So there are few ways to go. So first you can go with viral opportunities, right? The spinners. I have one. I stole my kid's spinner, and we saw everybody's playing it. Let's make a game about it. We'll probably be the only one. Well, no. Everyone beat us to the punch. But we're trying. I told you it's new. We're new. But we try to create a game that's not just a spinner that spins, because this is obvious. We want to create a game. So we create a game called Spinners versus Monsters. Yeah, you're a spinner, and you need to defeat the monsters. So if they have a shield, you come behind them. And if you have this one with the tank, so you need to wait until he's out of his shell to kill him. And we create a full game. So this is one opportunity. Do you remember this guy with his kids? Interrupting him, we created a game. So you need to tap the kids to make them go away. If you don't tap them for 2 seconds, they start crying and destroy your presentation, your interview. And you have a power-up button. When you press it, the mother comes and takes all the kids from the screen. It's not in the stores because this guy, he asked us to take it down, and it was just we just tested the water with the game, so we didn't mind. We got retweeted from the interviewer, but the interviewee, he asked us to take it down because it's really similar to his face, and we said no problem. So we're talking about viral opportunities. You see example of it all the time, so it's one way to go. Mix and match. Sometimes I say, I really like the death thing of Don't Grind. It's so funny. I want this in my game. And I also like this mechanics, the shape recognition mechanics. And I didn't see it for a long time. So let's try to do something like that. So I come up with a one-pager. I use my lame graphic skills to envision something. And then the team takes it and makes a prototype from it. And it wasn't that fun. I thought it would be very, very fun. It wasn't that fun. So we scrapped it. I can't show you a lot of ideas that got to the next stage because they're in production. So I just show you the failures. So trust me, we have some that work. Okay? Back to basic, the game that we played as kids. So how can you take this game to be a super casual game? Maybe it's a runner, but you can use only the mechanics of the hedge sketch, and you know the shaking element comes and try to catch you. So this is an idea. What about this one? What is the mechanic of the hook? Is it like drag, or is it like 3D? So we try to play with these elements and try to find out what is fun. We couldn't find what is fun with the fish. You don't have to invent the wheel, okay? So there's Frogger, so Crossy Road made the same mechanics, right? Space Invaders, Shooty Skies, Galaga, it's the same thing. Sometimes you can just look out the window and see how a leaf falls in the wind, and maybe this mechanics is fun. Let's try to do something with that. It's not that fun. But we tried it. How a string works on the guitar, the vibrations, right? So maybe you're like a guitar pick and you need to move from string to string before the vibration catches you. Maybe, I don't know. Actually, we haven't tried it yet. Sometimes it's a name, Slapchat. So funny, let's do a game about that. Running late. Sounds like a game. Everybody's running late. It's very relatable. Okay, so we tried. Sometimes you remember this trend in the Facebook or social networks when you try to stop the GIF at exactly the same time, or the right time. So we made a game about that. It's in production right now. Sometimes you see a very cool, very small element of a game and you say, oh, I like this one. Maybe when you move, the world moves. And when you stay still, everything stays still. Maybe that's interesting to do a game about. So we scratch our heads and we try to find different elements. And then when the project goes to production, it goes through the whole system. It's similar to all other games, but for us it's just very short time frame. So you write the GDD and you think about all your monetization strategies, the parameter UX and the concept art. You start developing, you insert all the balancing tools. Then you get an alpha, I review it, the team reviews it, we move on to the beta stage, you put all the art and UI in, all the services, right, in-apps and everything, and share and all our SDKs and analytics, then you review the beta, You do a lot of game testing. Okay, if you don't have, don't give it to your family. They love you. They will love the game. It's not a good idea. Give it to your friends. If you don't have friends, give it to your, go to a coffee shop and just play test your game. It's very important. Sometimes the thing that you love the most in the game, it's the thing that kills it. So try and think it's true. Then you go to QA and hopefully the game is ready. You move to marketing. You give it a nice package, you soft launch it. Well, we soft launch it, we check our KPIs, and if necessary, we change something in the marketing or in the game itself, and then we ship it worldwide. So that's our process. Okay, we talked about game design, art, developing, okay, QA, marketing. I just want to show you the great art. And game release, and so far we are working on 9 games from developers and 14 games that are in production that are in-house production, and that's basically it. Thank you. If you have any questions, now's the time. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Okay, sorry. Just shout.
Okay, what's your usual time frame for developing games?
Our usual time frame or our desired time frame? Our desired time frame is about a month and a half for a game. Usually it takes about 2 months, 2.5 months. Sometimes we change the art completely because it doesn't fit the game, but around 2 months, let's say. Any other questions? Yeah. Okay. Let's say we started about 6 months ago. We had like about 300 ideas, and we produced about 10, maybe 12. So from 300, we go down. I narrow it down for like 50. Because a lot of ideas are just stupid, but it's good to have stupid ideas. That's why we want to keep it very wide. So sometimes in the stupid you have a brilliant idea. So 300, I narrow it down to around 50, and then we narrow it down to around 30 prototypes, maybe 25, and from these prototypes, around 12 get to the final stage of production. Yeah, you need to clean it up very fast. But the ideas, they don't die, because sometimes you're stuck on one mechanic and you take a different aspect from the idea that you had and didn't work, and you mix them up together and it works. We sometimes do meetings just to go over all the ideas that we scrapped before, just to see that we didn't miss anything. And also sometimes we take an idea that the executive team said we're never going to work, we do it anyway. Just to check the waters, because we did something in the IDF, the Israeli army, when they took the test to become a pilot, and sometimes they take in people that didn't pass the test to become a pilot, and they want to see if they make it or not. If they don't make it, then the testing process is good. If they do make it, sometimes it means the testing process is not good.